Start. We must note that this is the third case which this court has noticed in a short span of 2 months, where in a case of suspected poisoning, viscera report is not brought on record. We express our extreme displeasure about the way in which such serious cases are dealt with. We wonder whether these lapses are the result of inadvertence or they are a calculated move to frustrate the prosecution. Though the FSL report is not mandatory in all cases, in cases where poisoning is suspected, it would be advisable and in the interest of justice to ensure that the viscera is sent to the FSL and the FSL report is obtained. This is because not in all cases there is adequate strong other evidence on record to prove that the deceased was administered poison by the accused. In a criminal trial, the investigating office, the prosecutor and the court play a very important role. The court's prime duty is to find out the truth. The investigating officer, the prosecutor and the courts must work in sync and ensure that the guilty are punished by bringing on record adequate credible legal evidence. If the investigating officer stumbles, the prosecutor must pull him up and take necessary steps to rectify the lacunae. The criminal court must be alert, it must oversee their actions and in case it suspects foul play, it must use its vast powers and frustrate any attempt to set at naught a genuine prosecution. Perhaps the instant case would have been further strengthened had the viscera been sent to the FSL and the FSL report was on record. These scientific tests are of vital importance to a criminal case, particularly when the witnesses are increasingly showing a tendency to turn hostile. In the instant case, all those witnesses who spoke about poisoning turned hostile. Had the viscera report been on record and the case of poisoning was true, the prosecution would have been on still firmer grounds. Having noticed that in several cases where poisoning is suspected, the prosecuting agencies are not taking steps to obtain viscera report, we feel it necessary to issue certain directions in that behalf. We direct that in cases where poisoning is suspected, immediately after the post-mortem, the viscera should be sent to the FSL. The prosecuting agencies should ensure that the viscera is in fact sent to the FSL for examination and the FSL should ensure that the viscera is examined immediately and report is sent to the investigating agencies / courts post haste. If the viscera report is not received, the concerned court must ask for explanation and must summon the concerned officer of the FSL to give an explanation as to why the viscera report is not forwarded to the investigating agency / court. The criminal court must ensure that it is brought on record. We have examined the merits of the case and held that the appeal deserves to be dismissed and is accordingly dismissed. Stop.